good afternoon, everybody. It's Cindy with Candles and Supplies. Hey, Connie, how are you? You would be the first one on there. So good to see you all here. Today we're going to change it up a bit. We don't have a soap. We don't have a candle to make or anything. We are going to be making hair balms. So this week we just got in a bunch of new fantastic oils last week. And not only are they great for your skin, but they're really great for your hair too. And I don't know about you guys, but this time of year, with all the wind, this, that, whatever, I don't know, my hair is like super dry and damaged and everything. And then in the summer, as soon as you start swimming and going in water, your hair gets dry and damaged too. So a hair mask is what we're going to be making today, and then hair serums we're going to be making on Friday. And then next week for you, we're going to be doing lip glosses with a bunch of new items. It's going to be so much fun. So anyway, here we are. So playing with this recipe, the idea of a hair mask is kind of like a facial mask. So what you do is you would go into the shower, you would shampoo as you normally would, you apply your hair mask, and you can either leave it on, I read all different directions for this, so that you can leave it on, you know, for a couple minutes, you can leave it on, get out of the shower and like go do your thing for like a half hour and everything. It's designed to have a lot of super hair enriching oils in there that protect, hydrate your hair, or whatever you do. This recipe that we're doing today is especially formulated for dry, damaged hair. We will have some other ones that we'll come out with too, to kind of piggytail on this for, like, you know, frizzy hair or you know, deep conditioning, that type of thing. There's a bunch of different ones that I was like playing with, but this one I really liked for this time of year. It worked out great and it feels really nice on your hair. So what you're going to do is you're going to shampoo your hair, you're going to apply the hair mask, leave it on for a little bit, rinse it out, and then apply your conditioner. The conditioner kind of seals and locks in all the super good benefits that the oils do. Let me show you what they look like. I made a few different ones here, and depending on the oils that you use, they turn out different colors and different textures and everything, but all are about the same texture, and they look different. So this one, put it right up to the camera. This was actually an argan oil one. So you can see it's argan oil. If you have argan oil, it's very yellow in color. So this one kind of turned out a little bit yellow. But the consistency of it is, you know, it's kind of sticky. Yeah, it's designed to be a mask. So like a facial mask, it's going to kind of be like that. So that's my argan oil one. This one, oh, do this one first. So this one, I decided that I hate my container that I put it in, so we just transferred it to this one. But this one, forgot to put what it is in there, but this one does not have argan oil in it. I believe this one is either just a straight peach kernel oil or a marula oil or something in between. But see how it's whiter? Because it looks, but it turns out very whippy like that. So any of these, if you would like whip it up or stir it, it's still pretty, not super solid, not super hard, but nice enough to where you'll be able to apply it to your hair in the shower. So that's that recipe. And then the last one I did, and I didn't whip this up, so I just literally poured it in the jar. This is what ours is going to look like today. This is a plum kernel only formula, because I wanted to test out each of the oils on their own and what they did for your hair just by themselves. So this is a plum kernel oil one. It turns out really nice. Plum kernel oil conditions and stuff like that. So it does really good things for your hair. So that's what they look like in the end. We package these. I like using plastic jars. These aren't glass because they're designed to go in the shower or the bath with you. And I just don't feel comfortable bringing glass into the bathroom. I'm not real coordinated. I'm pretty clumsy. So for me, I don't like having glass in my bathroom. But I know a lot of people put their skincare products and stuff in glass jars. But for me, it doesn't work out with my lifestyle. It's about as successful as me wearing white, which you will never see me in white because I'm always a mess. So that's my life. Let's go over the recipe, what we're doing today and why I picked these certain oils. So first thing is cocoa butter. And we put this in there. So what cocoa butter does is provides a nice protective barrier for, you know, all the oils that you're putting in there and everything like that. So it's thicker, provides a nice protective barrier. It also helps the recipe solidify a little more because cocoa butter on its own is a pretty solid butter. So I like these little wafers because they're easy to like weigh out and stuff like that. So we have cocoa butter, and then we have coconut oil. You can Google all the benefits of coconut oil and everything like that. It's great for you. I use the 76 degree, the coconut oil. What this does is help all the oils penetrate your hair shaft. Coconut oil absorbs very easily into your skin. It also absorbs very easily into your hair. So by using coconut oil, it's taking all these beautiful oils and helping them, you know, go further into your hair shaft to condition it for dry hair. So we have that in there. These are our two solids that we're gonna melt. And then for our other oils, I chose Marula Oil. If you've Googled Marula Oil and hair benefits and stuff like that, it has lots of good properties to it. It's very, very good. You'll see it in a lot of formulas for dry, damaged, fragile hair. That's why I picked it, because in our whole dry hair thing, it's very good for that. So Marula Oil for dry, damaged hair. The next one I picked is Peach Kernel Oil. Peach kernel oil is very good. It helps prevent breakage. So it's very good. It's conditioning, and it helps prevent breakage in your hair. So when we get all these nice hair mask things in there and everything, the peach kernel oil is going to go in there and help make our hair stronger so it doesn't break. And then the last one I have is Plum Kernel Oil. And these are all really nice too. So they don't smell like peaches and plums either. So don't be disappointed if you buy the peach kernel or the plum kernel. They don't smell like peaches and plums. Unfortunately, that would have been awesome. But like I said before, plum kernel oil is very, and on our bottles we have like the different things that it does for you too. So plum kernel oil helps, it's great for conditioning your hair, just, you know, just giving it a little bit extra moisture and stuff like that. So the next item that we're going to put in here is vitamin E. And I believe Christine is working on this recipe right now. She's going to post it to our Facebook page and probably our Instagram and stuff like that. So you'll be able to see this recipe, so you don't have to go watch and write everything down. I put vitamin E in here. Vitamin E is a great antioxidant, not only for your hair to help that, but it also helps out with the oils so that they don't become rancid or old as quick. So we put vitamin E in there for that too. Very good for lots of different things. And since this is a product that is going into the shower and will be subject to, you know, like water and stuff like that, we're using a preservative because it's very important. You don't want to use a hair mask. So hair masks are designed to be used like once a week. So you don't want to use your hair mask 1 week and then go back the next week and see it growing green fuzz on there. You're probably not going to use it again. So we're going to use a preservative just in case some of the water from the shower gets in there, or, you know, the moisture or whatever gets in your jar. The one I chose is Leucidal. I really like this one because it has conditioning properties in it, which is going to go great for our thing. So if you shake a bottle up of Leucidal, you'll see the bubbles that it makes. I love this for lotions too, because it just gives like a nice silky smooth feel and everything like that. So when choosing preservatives, that's why I chose this one. You can really use, you know, whatever one you choose, but I like this one just because of its conditioning properties. And then we are going to put some essential oils in here too, because some essential oils are very great for your hair. The ones I've chose has very good hair properties. First one is tea tree. Tea tree has a host of good benefits, but number one, so tea tree is very cleansing. So it's going to strip off all the products that you use, the hairspray, the this, the that, the mousse, whatever you tend to put in your hair that tends to build up over time. This is going to help strip it. And it's also, you know, antibacterial, antimicrobial, that type of thing. So, you know, if there's anything, you know, any kind of angry scalp condition to it, it's going to help with that. It's going to help soothe your scalp. The next one I picked is rosemary. If you've ever taken any of my hair care classes, you know my favorite essential oil blend for hair is half rosemary, half lemon. So I couldn't leave out the rosemary because it's one of my favorites. Rosemary is very good. It stimulates your hair follicles and promotes hair growth. So it's very good for hair growth. I mean, I thought this was a good one to add because we're conditioning it, you know, we're putting a mask on there, we're taking care of it and stuff like that because we want it to be healthy and we want it to grow. So that's why I put the rosemary in there, and it smells great too. And then we have cedar wood. Cedar is very balancing in your hair. So it helps balance everything out, whatever you have going on. It helps, you know, with dryness. It helps with, you know, excess oil. It helps with excess product, you know, product in your hair, you know, hairspray and that type of thing. It gives your hair more body, life, and strength. I use cedar wood a lot in like beard oils and everything too, where it's like a leave-on thing. So cedar wood's one of my favorite essential oils for hair. So we have that. And then our last is peppermint. Peppermint is also increases your circulation in your scalp, which helps stimulate your hair follicles for growth and stuff like that. Plus it smells great. It kind of takes, you know, the medicinal smell from the tea tree and you know, the wood smell from the cedar. So it just kind of balances that ratio out and makes it smell really great too. So those are our ingredients. Very simple. Probably a lot of this stuff you might have on hand already. So in the recipe, I did kind of some of it in tablespoons and some of it in grams. I usually like to weigh everything in grams. If you don't have a gram scale though, I thought it would be nice to, you know, put the tablespoons and number of drops in there too. That way you don't have to go buy a fancy scale to make this recipe. One thing about hair masks, the recipe's kind of open, so you can substitute these oils. You could substitute cocoa butter for shea butter if you want, or mango butter. Coconut oil, I would still use this coconut oil because it is the best for, you know, the penetration of the hair. But then the other oils you could substitute too, so you can get a little crazy if you want to and substitute if you want to. So it's really easy. What we do first is we're going to measure and melt these butter, the coconut oil and the cocoa butter. While that's melting, we'll mix the rest of our oils, and I'm just going to mix it right in the jar because I know it's a 4-ounce recipe. This is a little 4-ounce jar, so we're just going to mix the oils right in here, and we'll add the warm butters to it. And then once that is cooled down, once we add the butters, and we'll mix it up real well, and the vitamin E, we'll add that to the oils too. And we'll let it cool down a bit before we add our Leucidal and our essential oils because we don't want to kill them. And then very important afterwards, so since this has a lot of oil in it, and it's a very oily recipe, I usually take it after I mixed it real well and everything, I put it right directly in the freezer. And that helps it cool and congeal quicker. I find that if I just leave it out, the oils want to separate, you know, the cocoa butter hardens and the other ones don't even, no matter how you mix it and stuff like that, it just wants to do that. But if you place it in the freezer, it just kind of shocks it and everything cools and congeals quickly. And then it looks, you know, like that, nice and smooth in the end. So so that's what I do. So and that's what we're going to do today. So let's get started. First thing we'll do, we'll get these butters melting. Hopefully everybody can see this. I made a little gram scale here. This is just one of our little pocket scales that measures grams real nicely. And then a little glass beaker. And I'll put the beaker on the scale because I only want to weigh the products. So I'm putting the beaker on the scale, and then I'm zeroing it out. So the only weight on here is going to be 0. And then my cocoa butter, I'm going to add 40 grams. This also works out to 4 tablespoons if you're measuring melted stuff. So I'm just going to add enough of these little wafers to get the 40 grams. Oops, it's more than you would think. These always look like super delicious to me, so cocoa butter reminds me of chocolate. And I've tried them, they're not very delicious, but they always still look like that. Okay. Wow, I actually got to like exactly 40 grams. That's crazy. That never happens. So now I'm going to measure the coconut oil weight that I need out of that right on top of this because these are going to go into the microwave and get melted together. For the coconut oil, I need 20 grams or 2 tablespoons, however you want to measure it out. We're going to weigh it. All right, so I can zero the scale out right now. I'll just tare it, and then I can put the 20 grams right on top of it, or I could just add 20 to 40 and get a total of 60. I prefer to start out with 0, that way there's less thinking for me involved. So we're starting out with 0. I tared the scale again. I'm going to add our cocoa butter. And then if you guys have any questions, post them as we go along, because after I'm done doing this, I'm going to go through the questions and answer them. We'll also monitor the post and make sure we answer any questions that you have too after the video. And this, we'll save it on here so you can watch it at any time too. Christine's been like super awesome about doing our social media lately, so because I don't keep up with that stuff, but she's much better at it than I am, so she is the woman for the job there. All right, so we're almost there. And you could melt these and then weigh them too, so I just prefer to weigh them first. That way I can melt them and just get the recipe going. Almost there. Always seems like when you need a little bit more, you add a little bit and then the scale doesn't go anywhere, and then you add a little bit and then it goes too far, so that's what I'm doing right now. Okay, 20 grams. So we're good there. So I'm just going to take this little beaker. I'm going to pop it in the microwave right behind us here. Hopefully not get it too hot. Okay. So the next thing, we're going to do our oils. While that's melting, we can let that melt and do its thing, and we will measure out our oils. And again, I said I'm going to do this right directly into the container that we're using. If you're not real familiar with like weighing out different ingredients and stuff like that, you may want to weigh each thing separately instead of just adding them onto each other. But to me, it doesn't matter because I know this recipe, and just making a hair mask in general is pretty open-ended. So even if I like go over a gram or whatever, it's not going to screw it all up and stuff. It's still going to be really, really nice stuff. Okay, so I'm going to put this on the scale, and then I'm going to tear it out. And then for ease of use here, we are going to do the Marula oil. So this is going to be 5 grams. This has no smell either. I don't know why I always open up the oils and smell them. I know they don't smell, they have no odor, but I tend to like to do that anyway. Okay. 5 grams. We have that one. Next one we're going to do is the peach kernel, and remember we're using this one because it helps prevent breaking in your hair. So I'm going to tear out the scale again, get it to 0. So 5 grams is also like 2 teaspoons if you're just doing, you know, quick recipe here. This makes 4 ounces too. 4 grams, 4.6, 5 grams. Okay. And then last but not least is our plum kernel oil. Let's see if those butters are melting. All right. So these butters, there's still a little bit left in the bottom, but that's okay. I don't want them to get too hot. Otherwise, I'm going to keep you guys waiting here all the time to let these cool before we add our essential oils. So I'm just going to mix that in there. The microwave that I used is really old. I remember getting it from my grandmother when I was a little kid, like in 1st grade, so it's that old. It's very sentimental, so I keep it in the classroom, and it's, you know, one of my favorites, so kind of makes me feel like my grandmother's with me. Okay, so we're just going to let this cool off. We'll set it aside and let it cool off for now. And go back to measuring our oil. So now we have the plum kernel oil. This one I put a little more in. I put 10 grams of this one. The other 2 oils were 5 grams. I put the 10 grams in because remember, this is the conditioning one. So not only are we going to mask, we're going to hydrate, condition, and everything all in one hair mask. So this one's going to 10 grams. I teared out the scale and made it 0. And then it turned itself off because I was talking. All right, turn back on. It's at 0. We're going to 10 grams. 10 grams is approximately 1 tablespoon too, for instance, for example. Okay, so we have that. We have all those oils in there. Now I'm going to add my vitamin E. And this is just natural vitamin E in there again. This is the antioxidant, so this is going to keep all these oils and butters from going rancid quicker. It'll keep your product more stable longer. Antioxidant is also like anti-aging and stuff like that too. So that's good. I mean, your hair is kind of already dead growing out of your hair, out of your head, so you don't want it to age any quicker and break off and be bad. So we are going to add 10 drops of this. We don't really need to weigh this, but I'll just add 10 drops. 1. If you've worked with vitamin E, you know it's very thick and syrupy. The good stuff anyway. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1 more. Vitamin E is a lot of work, but it's worth it. All right, so now you see I have my vitamin E in there. It didn't exactly mix together, but that's fine because we have our hot butters that we're going to add to this anyway, so that'll help that mix in better. So this is why we want the recipe to be a little warm, because you can see the oils and the vitamin E in there. It's trying to mix, but it's not super being friendly with each other. So we're just going to add our butters to this, our warm butters. did calculate out the recipe nicely, so fits in there. So we're just going to take some time to mix this. So I could stir this for a while, and that would be great, but I prefer to use a little power tool here. This is a mini mixer. We have these, they're super great for like making lotions and stuff like that. So very convenient for like small batch mixing. So I'm just going to put that in there, give it a little power. You are welcome, like if you're doing a big recipe of this, you can put it in a stand mixer or a blender, whatever you have to help mix it. But I just feel like giving it a little bit extra power helps it out a bit. Also helps to cool it off. So this by itself, again, it just smells like the butters. It doesn't have an odor or anything like that, but I typically like everything to have aroma to it, so I tend to add essential oils and everything. And plus, essential oils are super good for your hair. We went over that, so they're good to add to the recipe too. Hopefully you guys can see this okay. All right, let me just take the temperature of this real quick and see where we're at. And I like using a digital thermometer. It makes it nice and quick. Yeah, good. So it was at 130. I'm just gonna mix this up a little more, just give it a little more power. Won't hurt. It's gonna cool it off a little more. All right, we'll take the temperature again. Beautiful. So we're at like 125 now, and that's a good temperature. Leucidal's pretty, some of the preservatives you can't use when they're hot, otherwise it kind of kills them. Leucidal's pretty friendly, but I still like to have it a little cooler. If they like to be cooler, I'll keep it cool in there. So for our Leucidal, we are going to use 10 grams. So I'm going to get my scale out again. I love these little scales. I'm going to put the whole jar on here and turn it on. That'll also tear it out. And then I'm just going to weigh out 10 grams. Again, it's more than you think. Leucidal's pretty light. Okay. You do not have to worry about mold, bacteria, yeast, and fungus now. That's never a good thing to worry about. Okay. And now we're going to add our essential oils. And I just did, you know, a very simple, it's 6 drops of each essential oil. Kept the blend very simple for you. Of course, you can tweak it. It's 24 drops total. So if you want to tweak the different essential oils and add, you know, maybe more tea tree, less tea tree, whatever, you're welcome to do that in the recipe. So, but we're just going to do 6. It. Little dropper one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. We have 6 tea tree. It already smells like it'll be good for my hair. Now we're gonna do 6 rosemary. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Has anybody ever wondered, like when you use your essential oils and you go to drop them out and then they don't drop, even though they have these little droppers on them? There's a little secret to it. So these are called Orifice Reducers in there. And if you look inside the bottle, I don't know if you can see it on here, and I have this ring, but if you hold the bottle up, if you look inside the bottle, you can see, I'm not sure it's going to show in here, you can see the plastic part that comes down from it. I need to get this little ring off. And what you want to do is put that plastic part towards your hand that you're going to pour with. So if you pour with your right hand, you want to have it over to the right side. I don't know if you can see that. It should be down like in between the neck of the collar. So if you look at there and you're pouring with your right hand, you want to have the Orifice Reducer out to your right hand, and then you'll be able to pour it and the drops will come out. So if you do it the other way, it impairs them from coming out. So a little essential oil trick for you. Next is going to be our cedar wood. Again, look for the Orifice Reducer, 6 drops. This is almost empty. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or if you can't see it in there and you go to drop it out, just turn the bottle until it starts coming out. So you don't have to shake it or do anything like that or crazy with it or anything. So, all right, and now we have our peppermint. Get a clean pipette for that. 6 drops. 2, 3, 4, 6. Excellent. And that's it. It all came together in here. Again, I'll just give it a little mix with the mini mixer. So already it's starting to cool. As you can see this, it's starting to cool and get thicker. So right after I get off this Facebook Live, I'm going to put this in the freezer. Look how pretty that looks. So this is going to be amazing. And that's it. It comes together real quick. So, I mean, if you're doing this stuff to sell or just make for yourself, this is a recipe and a product that comes together really quick. So when I put this in the freezer, I'm just going to put like a paper towel over top of it and then leave the cap open because I don't want it to get any condensation. So right now it's warm. If I put this lid on it, if I capped it right now, it would get condensation inside, which isn't good for it. Even though we used a preservative or whatever, we don't need to create problems. So we don't need to manufacture them or anything like that. So I'll just leave it open. I'm going to put the paper towel over top and put it in the freezer. And that way it can cool and become my hair mask, one of my hair masks. So it's very hard testing a recipe like this, especially if you can only use it like once a week. They are very conditioning and stuff like that. So, you know, if you use it every day, then you'll be too conditioned. So they work very well though. Your hair just loves these things. I have a bunch of hair recipes that we're working on. So Friday we're going to do hair serums. And what a hair serum is this is a mask. So this is designed to, you know, shampoo, put the mask on, rinse, and then condition. What a hair serum is like after you're done in the shower or shampoo, blow dry, whatever kind of damaging things you do to your hair, like I like to do and stuff like that. What a serum is, you would just put like it's in a little pump bottle, you would put a little in your hand and then just put it over the outside of your hair just to get the oils into your hair and condition them more. Again, they're very easy to do, but they sell for a lot of money. So if if you're doing this for your job or you sell products or whatever, there's a decent profit margin in it too, and they work really, really well. People are loving things that they can put on their skin and hair right now that don't have any, gluten-free, cruelty-free, GMO-free, this free, that free, anything very healthy that they understand. People are loving. So we're going to do that Friday. That's it for now. So what I'm going to do, if you have any questions, put them in here right now. I'm going to just scroll through the comments real quick and answer questions as we're going along. If you're watching this later after we've posted it, you just put your questions in there and we'll be sure to answer them for you. So thanks for joining us today. I'm not going to turn this off yet. I'm going to look at questions and answer them. So see who was on here. I'm getting blinder as I get older. I know it's hard to believe, but I can't see the comments when I'm doing the Facebook Live. So Connie was on. Hi, Connie. Hi, Nita. Connie was waiting. Awesome. Kathy's on. Hi, Kathy. How are you? Tammy was on. Hey, Tammy. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my peoples. We are going to have classes again in June, so I'm super looking forward to that. Holly's on. Hi, Holly. Angelina, Anika. Anika makes a hair oil with rosemary and clary sage. Oh yeah, clary sage is very good for your hair too. That's an excellent essential oil for your hair. Lori's on. Lori says, glad I caught this, but I think I'm a bit late. That's okay. Even if you're a bit late, you can watch it later. We're going to post it. We're going to save it and post it to our page and everything. That way you don't miss anything. Oh, looks like Christine answered that. So, Jacqueline. Hi, Jacqueline. She asked how long in the microwave. So my microwave, like I said, is really old. It really depends on your microwave strength. Usually with things like that, like any of the oils and butters, I'll put them in the microwave at like 50% power, just so they don't heat up too hot or too fast. So I don't know if it like deteriorates the quality, but I like the low and slow thing, just to heat it up nice, especially in this recipe where I want it to cool and congeal real quick and stuff like that so I can add my essential oils. So if it was a normal microwave, I would do 50% power. and just until it's melted. It didn't, I think I had it on for like 30 seconds or a minute, so you only need to heat it till it's melted, or even if there's a little bit of chunks, you can just stir them in, kind of like melting chocolate. All right, and then Maria. So you freeze it to get the ingredients to stick together. My question is, after you do that and take it out, will the ingredients separate again, or will they stay bonded? No, they will not separate again. So, excellent question though. So for this, when I first started making this one, the argan oil one, it was literally 2 weeks after I made this recipe, and it still was not hard. It was still oil. And I'm like, this is a mask. It's not supposed to be oil. What is going on here? I need to tweak my recipe. So I'm like putting different things in there and this and that. And then I made it again and then just put it in the freezer because I wanted to take pictures of it. So I put it in the freezer to do that. And then it didn't separate. It looked beautiful like this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this just solved my life problems. So I keep it in the freezer and, you know, get the oils to melt together, you know, to congeal together. And they never really separate. I mean, I guess if I heat it up again, it might separate. I might have the same problem. But this has sat in our classroom probably for about 3 months, in the cold, in the hot, because it's not really temperature controlled after hours and stuff like that too. So yes, they don't separate out and they stay bonded. And we do have the recipe on a separate post too. All right, Holly says, thank you, Kat. Thank you, Holly, for coming. So, some other good oils to substitute that are good for hair. Oh, I'm so glad you asked. So, apricot kernel, any kind of kernel oil. So, peach kernel, plum kernel, apricot kernel, they're all very good for hair. Argan oil is very good for hair. Jojoba is actually very good for hair too. So those would be some good substitutions. If you read on our website, like we have for the different oils we have on our website, what they're good for and everything, it'll tell you what's good in there too. We're working on an oil chart. We might get that posted sometime in the near future too. Lori asks, how long do you leave it on? So you shampoo, you put the mask on. I've read different things. Typically I leave mine on for maybe like 4 or 5 minutes. Just leave it on there till all the goodness is in there and stuff like that. And it isn't oil, it's a thick oil, and the butters and stuff like that. So even when you rinse it off, you can still feel it in your hair. I put the conditioner on top just to, you know, smooth things out and condition it a bit and stuff like that. That also, conditioners have emulsifiers in there, so it also helps take some of the real heavy oils out of your hair. But you would leave it on, you know, anywhere from, I've read things where people leave them on for a half hour. I guess it depends on like how drastic of a situation your hair is. If it's really, really bad, then you may want to leave it on a little longer, but usually a few minutes just takes care of everything for you. So. Valerie's on. Hi, Valerie, if you're still on. And let's see, Maria. All right, good. Looks like everybody got everything on there. Well, that was fun. That was a good Wednesday afternoon fun. Make sure to come and join us on Friday too. If there's anything else like that you want us to do Facebook Lives on, just throw it in a post somewhere and stuff like that. Christine's been doing a great job of keeping track of this and making sure I do what I'm going to do and stuff like that. Yeah, so we would love to do all kinds of fun things. We do have a big list. So if you don't request things, we're going to use our imaginations and get them up online and do Facebook Lives for them. But this was fun. Thank you so much all for joining. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And we will see you on Friday and we'll do hair serums. Bye, everybody.